Good morning all, my name is Keyur Mehta. I head up data architecture at Betfair, and I'm here to talk about how to leverage cloud for big data analytics. I would like to start with something that happened 1.5 years back. These were my initial days working in the cloud. I was at a friend's place for dinner. We somehow started talking about work. Got excited. I was like, yeah, I'm working on this cool project in the cloud. There's this lady who was sitting next to me, in her 60s, Italian lady, lovely lady, completely non-technical person. She started showing interest in what I was saying because she genuinely thought it had to do something with, the cloud and the sky. Now, I must admit, I don't consider myself an expert explaining technical terms to non-technical people, but I gave it a go. I tried a few things, didn't work. In the end, I just said something like, it's like magic. It's like genie. You ask for something and you get it in no time. That obviously didn't work either, but she didn't ask me any other question. The reason I said what I said was, since we started with our journey to the big data cloud, this is going back December 2013, there have been a number of moments when we were like, wow, that's cool, that's magical. And today I'm going to share some of those moments in next 23 minutes. Before I do that, if I can spend a couple of minutes to talk about Betfair and our data challenges. Can I ask how many of you know Betfair or have heard of Betfair? Wow, that's cool. Every time I present, pretty much everyone in the room has heard of it. And I go back to my branding team and I tell them, and they're very happy because they must be doing a good job. Betfair is one of the most innovative companies in the country. Now, I would say that, wouldn't I? But I'll tell you why. In year 2000, there was a guy from the city and a professional gambler. They joined hands together and came up with the concept of a betting exchange. The concept that allows people to bet against each other rather than against the bookmaker like William Hill or Radbrokes. So you all know eBay, you know Airbnb. We are the betting version of them. It's just that we started a lot earlier than Airbnb. So the company that started in year 2000, since with betting exchange that revolutionized the industry. Since then, we have introduced a number of products, some really innovative features like Price Rush, for example, where we are able to hedge the sportsbook bets on exchange. We offer these products and features through a number of channels, so the traditional website, the growing mobile channel, and we also have a number of customers who programmatically bet on our exchange using sophisticated betting strategies. So you'll be surprised to know how many people do that. It's very similar to how you trade on financial exchange. We are headquartered in Hammersmith in London, but these are some of the countries where we have offices, and we have customers in over 100 countries, so it's a truly international business. The company that started in year 2000 went public in 2010, and at that time it was Europe's biggest .com IPO. So a remarkable journey for a startup to reach FTSE 250 in less than 10 years, which hopefully in the next few weeks would be FTSE 100. That was a brief story on Betfair. If I had to highlight some stats, how to do that, I know we are asked not to do, but it's important to understand. We process up to 100 million transactions a day. So to put that number into context, that's more than all major European stock exchanges put together. And we process these transactions at incredible velocity. Every API call that's made to our website, pretty much all the clicks that happen on our website, is logged in what we call weblog events. And our weblog events run into billions a day. So we are not Yahoo, we are not Google, we are not Apple, but for the size of our company, we do process and deal with decent volume of data at a very high velocity. But it's not just volume and velocity. We deal with a variety of data. We've got a number of internal systems, external systems, products, channels, jurisdictions, devices, customers, variety of data we get. And it's not just that. We look at each and every customer's customer journey. We look at each and every campaign that we send to our customer, whether it's SMS campaign, push notification, email. We even track where exactly in the email you click. We also look at our AdWords, whether they are internet AdWords, whether they are TV AdWords, and the changes that happen in customer behavior after those AdWords. We're increasingly looking at how people talk about us on social media, hashtag #TapTapBoom, hashtag Betfair, whether they are seeing positive things about us or not. Now, my team, Enterprise Data Services team, is responsible for acquiring all these data sets, processing it, building platforms, and also work closely with business to unlock the full potential of data. And we have, I have a number of very demanding stakeholders, from marketing, finance, risk, compliance, anti-fraud, you name it. Pretty much everyone in the company has some kind of data need, and our job is to build platforms so that they can exploit data. How do we do that? Until recently, well, going back to December 2013, until then we were an on-prem traditional data warehouse built on top of Oracle Real Applications Cluster. Since then, we have offloaded a lot of our analytics to the cloud. And now, as we mature in our implementation of the cloud, we are now starting to leverage the power of cloud to start hosting some of our business processes there. What do we use in the cloud? I don't have the fancy architecture diagram, but I'm just going to talk about a few key areas of technologies that we deal with. One of the big challenges in the data architecture is how you cost-effectively store data. And we use Amazon's S3 service to do that. S3 stands for Simple Storage Service on Amazon's cloud. That's virtually infinite storage, and it's got 11 nines durability and 4 nines availability. 11 nines durability means if you've got 10,000 objects or files, you may lose one of them in 10 million years. So that's pretty durable, right? And Amazon achieve it by storing your object or file onto multiple availability zones. Each availability zone you can think of as a cluster of data center. These data centers are physically located in different locations, get electricity from different service providers, are in different flood areas, etc. So when you put your stuff there, you know that it's going to be there. For structured data analytics and fast analytics, we use MPP. And the product that we use is a product that you referred called Redshift. That's a petabyte scale data warehouse service in the cloud. It's something which we have been using in production for a couple of years now. And I'll spend 5 minutes to talk about our experiences of using MPP in the cloud. For slightly less structured data or not so fast analytics, we use Hadoop. And the product that we use there is a product called EMR, which is Elastic MapReduce Managed Hadoop framework in the cloud, something we've been using in production for a little less than a year, and I'll spend a couple of minutes to talk about our experiences of using Hadoop. When you have a lot of data, you have to separate out signals from noise, and we use the power of data visualization to do that, and the product that we use is a product called Tableau. Something, again, we've been using in production for a couple of years, and I'll spend a minute or two to talk about our experiences of using data visualization in the cloud. So let's get going. AWS Redshift or MPP in the cloud and our magical moments of using this product. If there's one thing that you take away from this product, from this presentation, is this slide. The use of cloud and the benefits that we get on speed, elasticity, transparency, and simplicity. Redshift combines the power of two, MPP and the cloud. MPP stands for massively parallel processing. Every query that's submitted to the platform, it gets distributed onto a bunch of compute nodes and gets executed onto those node slices. It's a shared nothing architecture. It's also a highly compressed columnar database. So in traditional RDBMS, typically if you have a table of 100 columns, and if you want to select, say, 5 columns out of 100, in majority of the cases, the RDBMS, what it has to do, it has to fetch the full record from the disk into memory and only display you the columns that you asked for. In columnar databases, because related data is stored together, it will only fetch what you really need. And that means reduced I/O and better performance. You also get fantastic compression ratios in columnar databases. Because related data is stored together, it's easier to compress. And the results? Well, the results speak for themselves. So this is a simple count sum on a couple of billions table, 10 seconds, you can do that. To a lot of our analysts who came from traditional RDBMS background, this was a big step change. It's something that they were not able to do before, like analyzing billions of records in seconds. This is a photo of a dashboard in our marketing area. I won't go into the functionality of the dashboard, it's interesting, but it needs to process a lot of data very, very quickly, and Tableau works hand in hand with Redshift to achieve that. If you want to do fast analytics, you really need a super fast platform underneath, and MPP is, in my view, is the way to do it for structured data analytics. This is some of the feedback we received from our data analysts and data scientists in business, that they're able to do things quickly without taking tea breaks. Not that they don't like the tea breaks, but they do not have to like start something, go and come back. They're able to do it much more quickly. We haven't done any magic. We've just chosen the right platform for the right use case. Speed of execution of query is one thing. What I'm sure we'll all agree is that what's more important is the speed at which you deliver business value. Whenever I've done platform projects in the past, at Betfair, prior to Betfair, those projects have always come with associated infrastructure projects. So first thing you do, you size your hardware. Then you wait for it to arrive in your data center. Then you wait for it to be racked, patched, cabled up. And before you migrated your first data record onto the platform or have delivered any business value, you're many weeks, sometimes months into the project lifecycle. With cloud, you can get up and running within minutes. And even if you take into account all the set of activities, because this MPP in the cloud was our first experience of doing anything in the cloud, we had to take out time to set up VPCs, virtual private cloud, the security groups, roles, etc., all the best practices of the cloud. We were still up and running within a matter of days. Moving on from speed to elasticity. It's so easy to dial up and down. Whenever we have a big event like Cheltenham, Grand National, these are like big horse racing festivals, Football World Cup, Rugby World Cup, we get more number of records. And we also have a lot of people in business who are more interested in how well we are doing on those events. So we get more load on our system. We increase the number of nodes. When we don't need them, we just shut them down. And the reason why we are able to do it so quickly is because it's a one API call or one-click operation. This is one of my most favorite slides, or the screens in the AWS Management Console, which allows us to resize the cluster. So you can choose whether you want 2 nodes, 20 nodes, 120 nodes. When you click this button, what Amazon do in the background is they create the new cluster, they mark the existing cluster as read-only, they migrate those billions of records from the old cluster to the new cluster, rename the new cluster back to the old cluster, and while it's doing that, all your queries are completely uninterrupted. Now that to me is wow, that personally I think it's magical. It actually just makes your platform so scalable and your change management process so simple to manage. If you want to add more nodes, the impact on businesses, they can continue to run their queries. We don't have a model in the company where we cross-charge our business units on performance, but if you have that model in your organization, the onus on performance, you can actually give it back to business. If they want more performance and they're okay to spend more money, they can have it, not in a matter of weeks or months, but in a matter of hours. Whenever I press this button, I tell my team that, yeah, this is my 1-month project done. Talking about costs, it's all free. You don't pay anything. In fact, Amazon will pay you if you start using their services. I'm just kidding. It's not free. It's not cheap either. But the costs are competitive, and what you see on the screen is what you pay. So you don't have to worry about how much money you'll have to pay to the electricity provider of your data center or how you're going to secure your data center. It's all looked after for you. And just like your mobile bill, utility bill, you get a full breakdown of exactly where your money is going. We started with pay-as-you-go because we have a culture of fail fast. So if there's something that doesn't work, you can stop it and you stop paying for it. And now, as we mature in our implementation, we are in a contract with them. It's all simple. So we were able to get started in minutes. Now, I must say, I've got my team, a bunch of software engineers, data architects, people who know technology, but they are not experts in infrastructure. So for us, it's very important for us to get started in minutes without having to worry about whether we are going to buy this processor or that processor. It's a fully managed service, so we don't have to worry about upgrading hardware or applying patches to the software. It's fault tolerance. If one of the nodes develops fault, it's automatically detected and fixed. The backups are automated, and the snapshots are taken on S3, again, very durable. But the cool feature there is, if you want, I mean, our regulators do not allow us to store data outside EU, but if you have that, if you do not have that restriction, if you have that flexibility, then there's no reason why you can't just click a button and have that snapshot copied onto a completely different region. That's your disaster recovery done just by click of a button. I know organizations spend tens of millions of pounds in spinning up data centers in new regions. The restores are fast as well, and pretty much everything, the SQLs that you write, all the connection attempts, everything is audited for security and compliance reasons. So these were my 4.5 minutes of talking about MPP in the cloud and the magical moments, moving on from MPP, Redshift, to the technical but exciting world of Hadoop. Now, can I ask how many of you use Hadoop in production? Okay, less than what I thought. So with EMR or Elastic MapReduce, you get pretty much everything you expect out of Hadoop, but as a managed service. You don't have to worry about, it's on demand, so you don't have to worry about installing Hadoop, configuring Hadoop, even the basic performance tuning is looked after. Out of the ones that are said that they are using Hadoop in production, can I ask how many of you use Spark? Okay, that's good. So pretty much everyone is using Spark. It's funny, I was at a conference a few weeks back, and there was a consultant I was talking to who made me realize that Spark was the answer, no matter what the question was. So, so I hadn't even finished asking the question. I was like, Spark, Spark, Spark. But no, it is changing the way, and we've recently started using it. We spin up and shut down our task nodes. We spin up and shut down our clusters based on requirements. One of our main use cases of Hadoop is web log processing. So every single day we process about 5 billion records in production, and some of those operations involve complex unpivot transformations. And the use case that we have is to identify people who make calls to our APIs but do not generate enough revenue because they are eating up all resources on our exchange but are not then putting in the right money onto the exchange. You also get to choose instance types. So depending on your workload, you can choose memory intensive, IO intensive, or commodity hardware. We've recently started using spot instances because these cloud service providers, they have a lot of unused capacity. When you architect anything in the cloud, it's very different to architecting on-prem because you always have to be mindful about cost. And the spot instances are instances that come out of that unused capacity that are available for you to bid at a significantly lower prices. The cool feature that we like a lot is the concept of EMR-FS, which is Amazon's implementation of HDFS. We have a policy of storing data once, but spinning up clusters as and when required to process data as well as to make data available for query, and use S3 as the base layer for our active big data lake. So that was a couple of minutes talking about EMR or Hadoop. Moving on from the technical world of Hadoop to the beautiful world of visualization. And the tool that we use is a tool called Tableau. Now, we have a policy of data democratization, which means that we, the data team, build the platform, but we let the analysts and data scientists who sit in the business team build their own dashboards. And you know what? They love it. They love it because it's so easy for them to build their own dashboards. They are not like constrained by, oh, we have to prioritize this work for the IT team. It's quick, but it also has connectors to pretty much all the data sources that we have. It's easy for them to share. So if you build a dashboard, then you can share it with your colleagues, other fellow data scientists and data analysts. And these dashboards, some of them, they tell compelling stories and look really pretty on the mobile devices. There was a time when we had a central IT function that used to build thousands of reports, and these reports would get delivered to people's mailboxes, and not even half of those reports would ever get open. And now, when I see my marketing manager on a horse racing track, tracking how we are doing on acquisition channel in near real time on a Tableau dashboard on his tablet, that's a big step change. So it gives me confidence that we're heading in the right direction. So where are we heading next? So we started with on-prem, traditional RDBMS data warehouse. Last few months, we've been spending a lot of time in machine learning, both supervised as well as unsupervised machine learning models. I cannot talk a lot about our use cases in open forums, but what I can say is that in some cases, it's validating what business have always believed. And in some cases, it's challenging what businesses always believe. So we are used to taking some gut feel decisions, right? That for this kind of customers, always do this. This kind of events, we should always do these kind of campaigns. And when you start looking at the results of machine learning, you realize that, you know what, data is telling us something different. Last couple of years, we also spent a lot of time on social media analytics or sentiment analysis. Now, I must admit, we've had some mixed results. So I tell my team that even humans don't understand sarcasm, and we are kind of trying to make machines do that. So don't be disheartened if it doesn't work. It's like there are a lot of models out there, but the challenge for us is to actually make these models work for us and understand language of our customers who come from different countries. One thing that's very promising is streaming, and a lot of speakers have talked about it today. We went live with our first Kafka integration about 3.5, 4 months back, and since then, we've had at least 5 projects that are using it. And that's just reducing the time it takes from data generation to data exploitation and convert into actionable insights. We've got a number of use cases. So for example, on Exchange, some of them are very simple ones. But for example, in Exchange, we want to understand who is betting against who. Or for fraud, we want to identify potential court-siders. These are people who are at the sporting venue and trying to take a couple of seconds of advantage by betting from a sporting venue as compared to someone who is betting by watching the event on telly. We've got some use cases around marketing spend optimization. So for example, you go to Yahoo, you see AdWords, you have to bid to get those slots on the AdWords. And how do you know the customers that you're getting from those AdWords are the right customers for you, both in terms of the number of customers as well as quality of customers. You need to be able to process a lot of data really, really quickly and be able to make decisions. So the number of those use cases, there are plenty of other interesting, exciting things happening at Betfair. I talked about technology, but I had to put this in bold red letters. I mean, I'm not a salesperson, I'm a techie by heart. No technology is perfect. You have to choose the right technology for your use case, and once you have chosen it, you have to invest in it, because not all technologies are going to work all the time. Sometimes you have to put workarounds. Sometimes you have to work closely with your vendors to push them to fix the issues with the product. Sometimes you have to work closely with the vendors to influence them to get the right features added to their backlog. But most of the time, it's about working closely with your stakeholders to take them with you in the journey, winning their hearts and minds. And cloud is one thing that's making that journey easier than ever before. With that, I'm going to say, if you have any comments, feedback, suggestions, if you want to work with us, please feel free to get in touch with me or drop me a note on LinkedIn as well. Thanks for your time.
Okay, questions? 2 questions from the room. Okay, over there in the back. Somebody's coming over with a microphone. Great, thank you.
Hi, thank you. So why Redshift, not DynamoDB, for example? So when we talk about, especially you talk about social media analytics, where the data is mainly JSON, which is closer to key value pairs, and in other words, what's the advantage of staying relational on AWS while AWS itself is giving you something NoSQL for free, even on the tier, on the free tier?
No, that's a very good question. The question is, why do we use Redshift and not DynamoDB for social media analytics and JSON kind of workload? So the answer, we don't. So we use Redshift for our structured data analytics, and a lot of data that get produced internally in our company, as well as we get externally from other providers, they still follow the traditional row and column format. And a lot of, if you look at some of our workloads, human workloads as well as machine workloads, they are still based on traditional SQL. So if you combine the two, like a lot of structured data conforming to strictly row and column structures, not the JSON, and the workloads that we have, which is like typing SQL, then Redshift was it was an easy choice for us because of our volume of data. Even Redshift has its limitations. I mean, the 1.6 petabytes is what you can process on Redshift, but most of the organizations, that's reasonable, right? If you want to do more than that, then yes, you have to look at other option. You cannot scale with Redshift. But for JSON, we do not use Redshift, yes.
Okay, thank you. One other question? There?
Hi. My question is about the visualization part in Tableau. Actually, I have two questions.
Sure.
One is why Tableau and another product? Why Tableau? Why you choose Tableau and other that the competitor everybody knows is ClickView?
Okay.
The other question is the connection of Tableau directly coming to Redshift is straightforward?
Okay. So there were two questions there. One is why Tableau and not one of the competitors, and the second question was, is there a connection between Tableau and Redshift? So to answer your first question, I think there is a talk from Tableau in the other track. I have to be very careful about what I say here. But when we looked at data visualization vendors, this is a couple of years back. This was the most popular tool. There are tools out there, without naming anyone, that are better suited for IT. There are tools out there that are better suited for business. The challenge for us is to take business in the journey, and they like Tableau. It may not come with all the bells and whistles of the resource management that the IT team would like to have, or the scheduling capabilities and the caching capabilities that IT would like to have. But in terms of visualization, at that time, it was very difficult to get anyone else as close as Tableau. What Amazon have recently introduced, I was at reInvent a couple of months back, and I saw a very good demo of QuickSight, which is their significantly cheaper version of doing data visualization. They haven't yet, I mean, we're working closely with Amazon, but they haven't yet given us access to it. They promised to give us access in January, so there's a lot of competition in that area at the moment. The second question was, do we have connector from Tableau to Redshift? So we work closely with Tableau to test their connector to Redshift over SSL. So when we started our journey, again going back a couple of years back, they had a connector, but that connector didn't work over SSL, and that was one of our requirements. So we work closely with them to get that connector and work seamlessly now. We also work closely with them to test the connector to EMR, Hive on top of Hadoop, but it works seamlessly now. And that's what these data visualization vendors, not just Tableau, others are very good at, is to quickly publish the new connectors, because they want you to analyze data across all your sources very, very quickly. Does that answer your question? Cool. Thank you. Thanks. I'm going to be around at lunchtime if you need to ask me any question, and thanks for attending.